By popular request, I'm going to compare the new Beltress's Root Beer Float Blonde with Jon Renau's Palm Springs Blonde. Coming up. We invite you to shop at Wig Studio One. All of the links to these products will be listed below. If you have any questions for us, please reach out to support@Wig Studio One. There's also a telephone number to get a call back, or from any product page on the website. If you scroll down, hit the help button, you can be connected with a live chat. I'm wearing the style Beltress Caliente in their new Root Beer Float Blonde, and I have a full review up on this color. We really get into it. It really pleasantly surprised me because it's a little more ashen tone than what I anticipated. The color swatch and the name just implied something of a warmer tone color. But indeed, I find lots of ash tones. And so I'm asked quite frequently since that review how this color stacks up against the Jon Renau's Palm Springs Blonde. So we're going to go through it pretty quickly. This Root Beer Float Blonde is a 16, an 88, a 103, and an 8. So what you're seeing here is a dark ash blonde or light ash brown, and then that's highlighted then with what I consider to be more of a neutral wheat blonde, pale neutral wheat blonde, and then that's heavily highlighted with an ash platinum. And then all of that on a medium brown root. So just take note of some of these darker colors, how much dimension it actually lends to the style. The rooting is done impeccably. It transitions beautifully and it adds just the right of depth and dimension to this color. So let's compare it then to the Jon Renau's Palm Springs Blonde. I have it back here on the style Julienne. Palm Springs Blonde, my favorite color in the Jon Renau line. All right, so what you have to remember is the color code on the Palm Springs Blonde is FS17101 S18. So we're talking about an ash blonde, a medium ash blonde, and then that's heavily highlighted with a toned white or platinum. And then it is on a light brown root. So I think there's a lot of similarity between the Palm Springs Blonde and the Root Beer Float Blonde, but I think you're gonna get a darker overall appearance from the Root Beer Float Blonde. The 16, which is a darker ash, kind of a sandy ash blonde, is a little deeper and darker than the base color on the Palm Springs Blonde, which is a true medium ash blonde, okay? And then it's really heavily highlighted with both a neutral, pale neutral blonde and platinum. And then on the Palm Springs Blonde, it's heavily highlighted with a platinum or a white that has been toned for a more ashy effect, okay? And then the rooting on the Palm Springs Blonde is going to be a little lighter and ashier in tone than that on the Root Beer Float Blonde. So even though I feel like a lot of the same colors or very similar colors are used, and I think you could easily transition from one to the other in terms of being a sister color, you're gonna see more depth and dimension on the Root Beer Float Blonde when you compare it to the Palm Springs Blonde. It's going to be a little bit, the Palm Springs Blonde I feel like is a little lighter and brighter than the Root Beer Float Blonde, and of course the rooting on the Root Beer Float Blonde is darker than Palm Springs Blonde.